This session will be yeah, we will continue. Are you able to hear me? We will continue from the earlier session.
I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, fine. We'll share the screen. A quick review of the sutras we saw.
Okay.
We started with Upapada Samasa, Tatra Upapadam, Saptamistam. That is is to be termed as the Samya Upapadam. And then Upapadam Ating combined with Ating. These two can join together to have a compound word. That's how we have Kumbhasya Karaha, Kumbhakaraha. That's how we get. Then the next one is Samasanta. How some certain characters can get added to the Samastapadam after we join all the words that are to be combined, and a letter will be added at the end. That is Samasanta. Here, Sarvaikadeva Sankhyata Punyascha Ratrehe. So for Ratri, before that, if any of these words come, then there can be we can have the Samasanta called Ach. In Ach, the Chakara gets its Samya, so it is ignored. We have only A being added at the end. And that's what we have Ahascha Ratrischa Tayoho Samaharaha Ahoratraha. All these forms are possible by that. Then Raja has Sakibhyash touch. This gives the touch Samasanta. This Rajan, Shabda, Ahas and Sakhi. These three will get touch as its Samasanta. The example we saw was Purvam plus Ahaha, Purvanhaha. So there are few other sutras that operate for this example, Purvam Ahaha, Purvanhaha. One is we get the touch A being added at the end by this Raja has Sakibhyash touch. Then we have Anhonha Etebhyaha, which gives Anhadesha. The Ahan becomes Anha. So that is got by Anhonha Etebhyaha. Then we have Anhodantat. Anhodantat gives Natvam. The Nakara changes to Nakara because of Anhodantat. And all these we have Purvam plus Ahaha, Purvanhaha.
Okay.
And then the next one was Akara Desha. Purvapada Vikaraha. How a certain term will undergo changes when it is put in a combined in a compound word. For that we have An Mahataha Samadhadikarana Jatiya Yoho. So here Mahat is going to become Mahan.
Yeah.
So Brahmacha Maha Brahmaha. So when we have touch as a pratyaya, which is an optional pratyaya, with touch it becomes Maha Brahmaha. Without touch is Brahman. So we have Maha Brahma. So these two forms are possible. There was one more Vartika that we saw. There's a Vartika attached to this. An Mahataha Samanadikarana Jatiya Yoho. Here, Gavicha Yukte, it says that when we have the Go Shabda and it is used in the sense of yoking, when these cows are yoked to, say, some cart. So in that sense, have this dirgha akara coming. So ashtau gavaha yasya tat ashtagavam. That ashta, that dirgham, like how in mahat it becomes mahan. Ashta, we have many instances where it will become ashta. So this is one example. Though the pratipadikam is ashta, it becomes ashta because of this gavicha yukte, which is a vartikam to an mahataha samanadikarana jatiya yoho. Then we need to determine in a compound word what should be the lingam of the final compound word, because the compound word could be formed with a combination of both a mixture of different lingams. For example, when we join Kukutaha and Mayuri, one is Pullinga, other is Strilinga. Kukutascha Mayuriyau, it becomes Kukuta Mayuriyau, and Mayuri Kukutaha, Kukutascha, that becomes Mayuri Kukutau. So one is in Pullinga, another is in Strilinga. The sutra here is Paraval Lingam Dvandva Tatpurushayoho. So Paraval, Paravat, based on the second Uttarapadam, whatever is the lingam of the Uttarapadam, that needs to be applied for the compound word. So that is the Samasasya Lingam determination that happens by Paraval Lingam Dvandva Tatpurushayoho. Then there are again exceptions to that rule. Not everywhere we consider the Paraval Lingam. The next one sutra is Ratran Haha Pumsi. Ratri and Ahan and these shabdas. Example is Ahascha Rastrischa Tayoha Samaharaha Aho Ratraha. Though Ratri is the second word, by Paravalingam Dvandva Tatpurushayoho, we should have taken Strilinga, but there is an exception because of this specific sutra which says Ratran Haha Pumsi. When it ends with Ratri and Anha, it has to be taken as Pullinga. So Ratran Haha Pumsi, we have Ahascha Rastrishcha Tayoha Samahareha Aho Ratraha. So for that, this again there is a counter. There is a counter example which says when there is there is an exception again. When there is a sankhya, then Dvayoha Ratriyoha Samahareha Ratram. Ratram, there it is Navumsakalingam.
Yes.
Another rule which says that if you have a sankhya before Ratri, it will be considered as Navumsakam. So first is by default it will be the Paravalingam. Whatever is the last one, that has to be taken. But for Ratri there is an exception that it has to be Punsi. But again there is one more sutra that overrules this, that it has to be Pullinga, which says that in this case when there is a Sankhya before it, it will be in Navumsakalinga. The next one, probably we didn't see it in the earlier class. This sutra has not been asked, but the example has been given in the exam question papers. Panchanam Gavanam Samaharah Panchagavam. And Ashtanam Padanam Samaharah Ashtapadi. We'll see one by one. So Panchanam Gavanam Samaharah Panchagavam. We have a sutra which says Napumsakam. I'll show the details of that. So this Sa Napumsakam, this rule says that in Samahara Dvandva and Dvigu, the lingam will be that of the neuter gender. So here, Panchanam Gavanam Samaharaha. So this is a collection of 5 cows. So in this case, since it becomes Samahara Dvandvaha, sorry, this is Dvigu because we have a number for it. Panchanam Gavanam Samaharaha Panchagavam. Isa Napumsakam in case of Dvigu, and in case of Samahara Dvandva, in both the cases we have Sa Napumsakam. But here this is an example of a number Sankhya coming before. Panchanam Gavanam Gavam. Panchanam Gavam Samaharaha Panchagavam. There is a Vartika to this. It says Akaranto Viguhu Striyam Ishtaha. So Akarantottara Pada Dviguhu. Then in the Dvigu, when Akaranta Uttarapadam, the second word is going to end in Akara, which is the case in Padam. In such examples, Striyam it will be. So based on that, Ashtanam Samaharaha Hashtapadi. Here it is in Strilinga. Artika Ashtapadi coming in Strilinga. So the Samasa Vidayakam Sutram for Dvigu is Taditottapara Pada Samaharecha. Taditottarapada Samaharecha is the Dvigu Samasa Vidayakam Sutram. Now coming back. Or we saw that Chaya Bahulyer abundance is example being because here the shade of the sugar cane, this term abundance, there is a lot of it. In that, since it is used, we have Napumsakam coming there. The next one we saw was Sabha Raja Manushya Purvaha. In case of the synonyms of the word Raja and Amanushya, like here only the demons, like Pisachanam Sabha. So in those cases, when we have Sabha coming along with these, we come here. Important points are doesn't get come. For example, Agni has Sabja Sabha. And any specific name, if we have Chandragupta Sabha remains Sabha remains as Chandragupta Sabha. Only for synonyms of Raja like Ishwarasya Sabha, it becomes Nabukam. Also in case of demons, Pisachanam Sabha, Sabham. So these cases we will have Napumsakam. Example word has been asked in some, not the sutra as it is. Goshala, both are basically. So that is Goshalam and Goshala, both in Strilinga and Nabumlinga. Sutra, Vibhasha, Sena, Sura, Chaya, Nishana.
Yeah.
These words, Army, Sura, Chaya, the shade, Shala is the Goshala example. So, and means Vibhasha, meaning this Nabumsaka Lingam can come option by default. By Paravalingam, we may have the Strilingam itself, because Strilingam is the last word. Last word is in Strilingam. So, anyway, but optionally, when I say optionally, we can have also. So, this covers the Tatpurusha part of it. Now, we move on to
Bahurrihi. There's something wrong with the sound system. Sound system is
for a second. Are you able to hear me now?
I can hear you, but there are some interruptions again.
We will start with so in Bahubali, it says that from here it's like giving heading. From now on, I'm going to talk about Bahuvrihi. So that is Seshaha Bahuvrihi or Sesho Bahuvrihi. Here by Sesha he refers to Pratamanta, the words in Pratama Vibhakti, because all the other Vibhaktis have been covered in the type of samasas. So this is the last samasa that is being covered there. Now, first samasa vidhayakam sutram is anekam anyapadante. I think now the audio is better, right?
It's better, but not as good as it was in the morning.
Okay. So now anekam anyapadarte. Vidhayakam sutram, and have seen in the earlier section, two words they combine to mean a thing that is totally different from these two. So it refers to a different third entity. So praptam mudakam yam saha praptodakah viraha purushaha yasmin saraha vira purushaha. These we have seen. We have also seen striyaha pumvat bhashita pumskat anung samanadikarana striyam apurani priyayadishu. So here it says the first word, if it is in Strilinga and if it is a Bhashita Pumska, which means it has an equivalent term. Because we have added a Stri Pratyaya, it has become a Strilinga word. So it has an equivalent term actually in Pullinga also. In such cases, it will have Striyaha Pumvat. We will use only the Pumvat, the Pullinga equivalent of that Strilinga word, and we will not use it in the Strilinga as it is. Example, Rupavati Bhalya Yasya Saha. So that Rupavati has
Strilinga.
Rupavati is in Strilinga, but in the Samasta Padam it becomes Rupavat because of this Striya, Pumvat, Bhashita Pumskat, Anung. So Anung, it shouldn't be having the Stri Pratyaya, it shouldn't end in that. So mostly in our cases, it will be either Ikaranta or Akaranta.
Okay.
Cases, and when we have that, it shouldn't be Striyam up Priyadishu, Apurani. It shouldn't be an ordinal number, and it shouldn't be in Priyadigana. These we have seen. Priyadigana is just a list of certain names, certain words are listed there. It shouldn't be in that list. Another example here we saw was Chitra, or in plural, Chitraha Gavaha Yasya Saha Chitra Guhu. So Chitra, so Strilinga, for Go Shabda we have Chitra in Strilinga, but we in the compound word we have only Chitra Guhu. This Bahuvrihi compound is by Saptami Visheshena Bahuvrihau. Not the Bahuvrihi compound, the Purva Nipata. Which one has to be placed first is decided by the Saptami Visheshena Bahuvrihau, which says that when you are having a Saptami term or you have a Visheshanam, that Visheshanam has to be placed first. So this Chitra is colorful cow. Colorful being an adjective, it has to be placed first. So now Striya, by the current sutra, Striyaha Pumvat Bhashita Pumskatanu Samanadikarana Samadadikarane Striyam Apurani Priyadishu. By this, instead of Chitra, we have Chitra. And Chitra. Same way, Dridham Bhaktihi Yasya Saha Dridha Bhaktihi, Dridha Bhaktihi Yasya Saha Dridha Bhaktihi. So Dridham and Dridha are acceptable Vigraha Vakya. Based on Vivaksha, what we want to put there, we can take either of one. And then if we want to stress on the feminine aspect of bhakti, we could say Dridha Bhakti. And in that case, since bhakti is a word that is present in Priyadigana, this rule wouldn't apply. Because it says Priyam Apurani Priyadishu, so it will not become Pumvat, have Dridha. We will have Dridha Bhakti. We were seeing this yesterday when we stopped. Up Purani Priya Ap Purani Pramanyoho. Today's session actually starts from here. Ap Purani Pramanyoho. Example is Stri Pramani Yasya Saha Stri. So it has up as a pratyaya. So this sutra is there will be samasanta called up. In which cases in Purani, that is Purna Pratyayanta, all the ordinal numbers. Then we have ordinal numbers, and in case we have Pramani, that Shabda. When in these two cases, we will have up as a pratyaya. So example, we saw Stri Pramani, Yasya Saha Stri Pramanaha. Pramani is there, and that Pramanaha, the final A has been added because of this up. Panchami Yasam Ratrinam Taha Kalyani Panchamaha Ratrayaha. Panchami is there. But that ikara is actually elided by another sutra Yasyaticha. So we have only Kalyani Panchama plus this up. Pancham is there because ikara has been lost. We have Kalyani and Pancham is up. Because of this up, it becomes Panchama. And because of plural, Ratrayaha, we have Panchamaha. So Kalyani Panchami Yasam Ratrinam Taha Kalyani Panchamaha Ratrayaha. So it means that there are a group of nights, but in those nights, the fifth one, Panchami Ratri, the fifth night is considered to be auspicious, Kalyani. So that set of nights in which the fifth one is considered auspicious is called Kalyani Panchamaha. And there are certain exceptions. I don't know if it is required here. If it refers to a paksha in which the fifth night is considered auspicious, not necessarily a ratri, then the form slightly changes. But for this, we will stop here. So, Ap Purani Pramanyoho. The next one, I will see which one is important. After Ap Purani Pramanyoho, na Kopadayaha. It has been asked once, but I'm focusing only on the more frequently asked ones. So once we are comfortable with those, we can then come back for less frequently asked ones. So na Kopadayaha. Na ka Upadayaha. Upada means penultimate, the one before the last letter. The one letter that is before the last letter, in case of say Pachika,
last but one.
Ka plus A. Akara is the last letter. Ka is the penultimate letter, the one that comes before the last letter. So Ka is there in the penultimate position. So Na Ka Upadayaha. So this is again an exception to Striya Pumvat Bhashita. The one which states that we will take only the masculine equivalent when there is a Strilinga word. That is called Pumvat Bhava. So this actually negates that Pumvat Bhava, saying that that doesn't occur. It doesn't occur in case of Ka Upadayaha. In such cases, it won't come. So Pachika Bharyaha is the Samastapadam for Pachika Bharya Yasya Saha. So here there is no Pachika. We don't take Pachika or Pachaka, sorry. Pachaka we don't take because it has Ka as the Upadha.
Yeah.
And there is one more Vartika to it, which says that Paka Bharya Yasya Saha Paka Bharyaha. So here we see Pumvat, but this is because it has been stated in that form, and the case earlier stated one, Ka Upada, it applies only in a certain case where it has to be got from Tadita and like Muvil, the Wu part of it. those pratyaya should be there. We will probably ignore it for now. So we know ka upadha, pachika bharya yasya saha, pachika bharyaha. There is no pumvad bhava here because of ka coming as upadha.
Yeah.
Next one is rarely asked, it has been asked once, I'll ignore that. Moving on. Swangacha itaha, swangat chetaha. This again is a Pumvat Nishedha, which says that the Pumvat won't occur. We won't get that masculine equivalent. Sukheshi Bharya Yasya Saha, Sukheshi Bharyaha. So here that Sukheshi remains as Sukheshi and doesn't change to the masculine equivalent as Sukesha. The reason being Swangacha itaha, Swangacha itaha. When we have this word ending, female word ending in Ikara, as in the case of Sukeshi, so we have a Ikara ending word there, and it is also referring to a part of the body, Kesha. So one who has the good hair, Sukeshi, since it's referring to a part of the body and it is ending in E, Swangat cha itaha, Swangat chetaha.
Yeah.
Case we have Pumbat Nisheda, we don't have Pumbat coming and the Strilinga remains. So we have Sukeshi Bharyaha. Here, Shobhana Keshaha Yasyaha Sa Sukeshi. That's the definition for what is Sukeshi.
There's a 2016 number. What is it? There's a 2016. What is it?
Important for 2016.
Okay.
These were all covered in our contact class.
Okay.
In other places, it refers to the actual exam question paper, but 2016 is the contact class, whatever were the sutras covered in contact class, though they were not asked in any other exam, I have included them.
Okay.
So in this case, the sutra has not been asked in any exam, but the example has been asked in the exam.
Sure. It's perfectly okay.
So Akesha Bharya Yasya Saha Akesha Bharyaha. So here it doesn't apply, though it is all same Kesha, it is part of the body, but the feminine word is not ending in E, Ikara. So Akesha Bharya Yasya Saha, it is only Akesha Bharyaha, there is Pumvat there. Pumvat happens there. So Pumvat will happen when it has to be Ikara and a part of the body. If it is not Ikara or if it is not part of a body, then we will have Pumvat. Next one is an important one. Yeah, Tatra Tenedamiti Sarupe. This is another Samasa Vidhayakam Sutram for Bahuvrihi. So there are a few Samasa Vidhayakam Sutram, I think 5, out of which at least 3 are quite important. So this is the second one. Tatra Tenedamiti Sarupe. Says that, we'll take an example. Kesheshu grihitva idam yuddham pravrittam becomes Kesha Keshi. Tatra tena idam iti sarupe. Samana rupam. It should be the same word coming twice. Kesheshu grihitva dandeshcha prahritya idam yuddham pravrittam. Mushtibihi prahritya idam yuddham pravrittam. So it has to be sarupe. So samana rupam should be there, and it should indicate tatra. It should indicate where it happened or tena, using what it happened, and that it here is karma vyatihara. It here refers to the fight. City, whatever fight happens, idam yuddham pravrittam. In that sense, if we have a Tritiya Vibhakti saying not tatra, this tatra tenedamita. So it says that where we have that tena, by using these, the fight happened. In such cases, if the same word, identical word comes there, two identical words in Saptami Vibhakti referring to what is held, or two identical words in Tritiya Vibhakti. That's why Tatra and Tena have been given. Okay. Kesheshu, this is in Saptami Vibhakti. Mushtibihi is in Tritiya Vibhakti. Kesheshu Grihitva idam yuddham pravriddam. So there, Kesha, Keshi. So by this sutra, Tatra Tenedam iti sarupe, this joining is possible. This Bahuvrihi compound is first possible because of this Tatra Tenedam iti sarupe. After that, we notice that Kesha only is there in Pratipadikam, but it is becoming Kesha. The Dirgha comes for the first term. That comes by the sutra Anyesham api drishyate. By that sutra, the first part becomes Dirgha. Like Dandaishcha Prahritya idam yuddham pravritam. There we have Danda, Dandi. So that Danda, Mushti becomes Mushti, Mushtihi.
Yeah.
First parts Dirgha happens by Anyesham api drishyate. Then the ending one we have Ich Karma Vyatihare. We'll be seeing that when it comes in a couple of sutras.
So
Ich Karma
when the samasa is to be done, or it is to be padachedam, when we do, we have to quote that particular Adhikar Sutra.
not Adhikara, Vidhayaka Sutra, you mean? Samasa Vidhayaka.
Just now you said that there, just above that.
Yeah, Samasa Vidhayakam Sutra.
Yeah.
This is the one.
Okay.
Tatra Tenedam iti sarupe. So, definitely in case of...
yeah. Okay. Correct. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So, in case of this Kesheshu Grihitva idam yuddham pravritam Kesha Keshi, the Dirgha comes by Anyesham api drishyate. The compound is possible by Tatra Tenedam iti sarupe. It is very important to write that Tatra Tenedam iti sarupe when we are quoting examples of this Kesha Keshi and all that, because it is a Samasa Vidhayakam Sutra. And then the Ich happens by the Keshi, it gets an Ikara.
Yeah.
That happens by each karma vyatihare. Karma vyatihara means this kind of enmity. So in that reciprocity, we have each as the samasanta. So chakara being getting it somewhere, we have only ikara. So ikara gets added at the end. Now the next one is Orgunaha. Let me see if it's important.
Yeah. Orgunaha.
I've been asked only once. Okay, anyway, we'll see. So here, the earlier example itself, Bahushu Grihitva idam yuddham pravrittam. In this, if we do the prakriya, the process of arriving at the compound word, we have Bahu plus Bahu, and we have this E by what we saw now, each karma vyatihare. So we have a E as the samasanta. So all these have to be joined. Now there is one more sutra which says or gunaha. Guna applied on this. O here means ukara.
Yeah, U or U.
U and U. In these two cases, and it has to have a bha samya. We will see what is a bha samya. In that case, we will have to substitute this guna before the tadvita affix. So here, because of guna, the bahu, ukara, by guna we have okara. Ukara becomes okara by guna. And how does this qualify bahu? How does it qualify to get guna is because it has a bha samya. So what is this bha samya? Bha samya is defined by yachibham. when there is yakara and ach referring to swaras, when a word, say here bahu, this is just the anga, it is not a complete word, just a pratipadikam here. When this pratipadikam is followed by a by a pratyaya, by a suffix, and that suffix has specific qualities. Like it could be akara or it could be any of the vowels. In this case, we have e as a vowel, so that's how it qualifies, and it shouldn't be the first five su, aujas, amau, the our vibhakti pratyayas are there, no? That's why we call subhanta, the sub pratyayas. So those first five, it shouldn't be there. So based on all those clauses, we see that bahu, because it is followed by e, it gets the samya called bha samya, and because of bha samya, the ukara in that bahu becomes okara, making it baho. Okay. And then we have our regular HO, yava, HO, yavayavaha, because of which that okara plus E becomes bah plus av plus E. That we had I, av, av. So here, because of okara, we add av.
Yeah.
So this is or gunaha. This explains how we have this bahu plus e becomes bahvi. So finally, when you add all of this, it becomes bahvi. Bahu, bahvi. And this bahu, first bahu, it becomes dirgha by earlier one, what we saw. But becoming dirgha, that is anyesham api drishyate. By that we have padasya dirgha.
Yeah.
Purvapadasya dirgha is by anyesham api drishyate.
We have to keep track of all the sutras. We have to remember all the sutras.
Yeah, only limited. I have tried to limit it to only the most important ones. So that's why even in this document covers all the sutras that have been asked in the exam. Within that also, I'm covering only those that have been frequently asked, which are easier to memorize.
Okay.
Okay. The next Samasa Vidhayakam Sutram for Bahuvrihi is Tena Saheti Tulya Yoge. So when we need to write a short note on Bahuvrihi or an essay on Bahuvrihi, we can mention these Samasa Vidhayakam Sutrams on Bahuvrihi. Like
on the right side of this, you have written that is Tena 3-1 Saha %. What is this?
Yeah, I'll tell you what it is. I'll tell you what it is. This is the splitting. How the words are saheti has to be split as saha plus iti. So it is easier to understand the sutra. It is easier to understand the sutra when you split the sutras, and it gives the vibhakti. When it is an avyaya, you see 0, 0. Vibhakti and vachana is indicated here.
Okay.
These are kind of standard things. You can find such material. I found it on the internet for all the sutras of Ashtadhyayi. I'm using from there.
Okay. Saha plus iti saheti. That is what it's.
Yeah. So it is easier to remember. See here, Vopasarjanasya is the actual sutra. But when we understand it as Va plus Upasarjanasya, it makes it much easier for us to get it in our memory, understand it, and remember it. So, Tena Saheti Tulya Yoge is the third Samasa Vidhayakam Sutram. As I was mentioning, the two earlier ones that we saw are Anekam Anya Padarte and Tatra Tene Gamiti Sarupe. Anekam Anya Padarte is the standard one. Prapta Mudakara Viraha Purushara Pita Manvaram. And Tatra Tene Gamiti was the Kesheshu. bahushu bahushu.
Yeah.
Then now the third one is tena saheti tulya yoge. So we'll see what it is. Example is putrena saha can be a compound word can be saha putraha or sa putraha. Both are possible. So here tena saha iti tulya yoge. So tulya yoge meaning equal participation. So putrena saha means sa putraha agatha. So he came along with his son. So he came, his son also came. So saha, when it implies equal participation, in that case we can form a bahuvrihi compound. Putrena saha becomes saha putraha, or it can be sa putraha. And this saha becoming sa is by another sutra, which is the next one called Vopasarjanasya. In Vopasarjanasya, which is split as va, va means optional. Vikalpena. So optionally we can put in place of saha we can put sa.
Okay.
Sa. So putrena saha, saha putraha or sa putraha. Here only two main sutras operate. One is tena saheti tulya yoge, which says that such a bahuvrihi compound is possible, and optional saha becoming sa is by vopasarjanasya. Okay, then I'll ignore a few. This was covered in content class, so I'll take it up. Dharma anich kevalat. Dharmad anich kevalat. Dharmad anich kevalat.
Yeah.
So here example is Kalyanaha Dharmaha Yasya Saha Kalyana Dharma. So this is by Anekamanya Padarte. By default, most of the Bahurihi will be by the Sutra Anekamanya Padarte. And anich. Dharmat anich kevalat. So it says that when we have the dharma pada, we can add anich as the samasanta to it. So that makes it kevalat says only when dharma is used as a single word. If it is swadharma or paradharma, something, if it is already a compound word, then in that case, this rule doesn't apply. When it is only kalyanaha dharmaha, only the word as dharma as a unit, when it is included there, then kalyana dharma by this anich. Anich. In anich, when we ignore the itsamya characters, we are left with an.
Okay.
So what happens is dharmaha is a akaranta padam, like ramaha. Then in dharma, when we add an, it becomes dharman. So the prathama vibhakti form for the nakaranta will be dharma. Like brahman becomes brahma. Like here dharman becomes dharma. So kalyanaha dharmaha yasya saha kalyana dharma. Here dharma has become dharma because of anich, and that anich is got by anich, meaning an has been added at the end. That anich is got by dharma danich kevalat, and this compound word is possible by anekam anya padarte.
Yeah.
This ich karma vyatihare, we have seen it earlier. It's kesheshu gruhitva. That ich, because of the final ich samasanta used in the case of mutual fight. Karma vyatihara, in mutual fight, in that sense, it ends in ikara. So we have, though the pratipadikam is kesha, we get the compound word ending in keshi. मुश्लैः मुश्लैश्च रहित युद्धं प्रवृत्तम् इदं युद्धं प्रवृत्तं मुश्ला मुश्लि. Another example, that's it. And we have already seen that the purva pada kesha has become dirgha by this anyesham api drishyate. And the ikara lopa, where is ikara in this? I don't see a Vyaakarana. Let me check that. Okay, that's done. Going back. Next one. These are only examples. Next, let me see the next important one. Which karma vidihari? After each karma vidihari, padasya lopaha is the important one. I'm skipping many of those because if we try to take more, it becomes difficult to remember. So I'm sticking to the important ones.
My
Here,
memory next to nil.
So that's why if we cover that 80-20 rule, they say 80% of the question will be only from the 20% of the most important portion. So like that, we will choose only the most important ones and hope that this will be anyway asked. Some of these will be asked. So padasya lopo hastyadibhyah. Padasya lopo hastyadibhyah. It is a combined thing. When you split it, it becomes padasya lopah ahastyadibhyah. So except for hasti, ahasti. So ignoring hasti, na hasti. So ignoring hasti in other cases, padasya lopah. In pada shabda, that final pada is there, no? That is lost, making it we have only you will be with path. We will see this path. We will see this example. Vyagrasya iva pado yasya saha asya vyagrasya iva pado asya vyagrapat. So here pada was there, but that akara is lost. So it ends in vyagrapat. But this sutra clearly states that padasya lopaha ahastibhyah, not for hasti. So in case of hasti, we have the pada remains there completely, doesn't become path. So we have hastehe iva padavasya.
Swadbhauri's Sutra mentions the lopa of the last letter, the final O of pada is elided, where it is at the end of the Brahvi compound, preceded by.
This document I have already placed in that site after our first session. I've made few corrections. I'll again update the same page. So even this present recording will also be updated in the same page.
Okay.
So you can access that Nivedita 2015 WordPress and you will find all of these, all the information and all the videos together in one page. Okay, Uru Pravrittibhyah Kapa. It defines the Samasanta Kap. When will Kap come? So Pakara is ignored and we have Ka. When should we add Kakara? So here it says Uru Pravrittibhyah. Uras, etc. Uras and so on. So there is a list of words which are grouped together and it starts with Uru, Uras. So those words will get the Samasanta Ka.
Okay.
And in a Bahuvrihi compound. So Vyudo Raskaha, Vyudam Uraha Yasya Saha, Vyudo Raskaha. Uras only is there. After that we had a Ka there. So it becomes Vyudo Raskaha. Vyuda plus Uras plus Ka. Vyuda plus Uras, because of Guna we have Vyudora, Vyudoras, and finally Ka and Supratyaya.
Yeah.
Vibhakti Pratyaya. Adding that everything we get Vyudoraskaha.
Yes.
Next one. Okay. Yeah, this one we saw Saptami Vicheshena Bahuvrihau. So this says which has to be placed first. We saw it in the case of Chitraha Gavaha Yasya Saha Chitra Guhu. Why Chitra has been placed first? Because it is the Visheshanam. So in the Visheshana Visheshyam, we always place the Visheshanam Sundaraha Ramaha. So the beautiful Rama, the adjective is placed before. So this is a colorful cow or colorful cows. So Chitraha Gavaha. So Saptami Visheshena Bahubrihau. Saptami and Visheshane, sorry. Saptami Visheshane Bahubrihau. So the Saptami words like Kante Kalaha, the Saptami word has to be placed first. Kante Kalaha Yasya Saha, Kante Kalaha. So this sutra limits with only instructing what has to be placed first. Then actual compound happens by other things. This is only for Purva Nipata, what should be placed first. So the one that is in the seventh vibhakti and adjectives, they need to be placed first. So that completes the Bahuvrihi bit.
Okay.
Then we can move on to Dvandva Samasa.
Will Divya join us later?
I'm not sure, but we have covered this already. Actually, all the detailed examples, without leaving anything, Harini had already covered for us.
Okay.
I found it very difficult to memorize so many, so I'm doing only limited for you. So Divya has attended that. Anyway, she will go through the recording also.
Okay. Okay. No, I want only limited one only, which are important.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Dvandva Samasaha. The Samasa Vidhayakam Sutram is Charte Dvandvaha. Charte in the sense of cha, the English equivalent would be and. In that sense,
you extremely briefed it and very important one you have given. I'm extremely happy. Because it runs just about 5 or 6 pages now.
Yeah. So the document is still there. I'm maintaining everything in the document in case any of the question papers you want to know what is the answer. So I've placed it there. But whatever has been covered in this YouTube, you can watch and you can mark those and focus on those. Maybe at the end I will once quickly list those sutras also.
Okay. Because whatever given,
and the numbering,
I'll go through this.
You note the number.
Yeah. Okay.
The numbering, I have made it in the order that is there in the Siddha or Kaumudi book only. And this first one is that ordering. The second one is the Panini Sutra. So Panini Sutra numbers will be like, it will all be mixed up. I have followed this Siddhanta Kaumudi, that numbering, so that it is easier for us to follow with our book.
Yeah.
So if you take a book, it will be in that order only.
So the second one, 2 to 29, for example, is actually Pani's book.
Yeah, Ashtadhyaya.
Okay. Okay.
Now, Charte Dvandvaha, in the sense of and that conjunction, there in that in the meanings that are conveyed by cha, we can have many subhantas, the nouns joining together to give a combined word, which will be considered as a Dvandva Samasa. Anekam Subhantam Charte Vartamanam Va Samasyate Sa Dvandvaha. So what are the different meanings of cha? Cha actually comes in 4 meanings: Samuchaya, Anvachaya, Itaretara Yoga, and Samahara. Samuchaya, and the important point, I'm explaining this for writing an essay on Dvandva Samasa. So if we are asked to write an essay on Dvandva Samasa, we could mention all of this. Mentioning Charte Dvandvaha, we can elaborate that cha has 4 meanings, and they are Samuchaya, Anvachaya, Itaretara Yoga, and Samahara, within which only for Itaretara Yoga and Samahara, only in those 2 meanings we will have Dvandva Samasa. So what is the Samuchaya and Anvachaya? Samuchaya is a conjunction where 2 different activities are there. So what we have here is Ishwaram Gurum Cha Bhajasva. So though there is a cha, what it means is worship the God and worship the Guru. Two different things. Do this and do that. So there we can't combine Guru and Deva because the activity itself is two separate activity. So there cannot be a Dvandva Samasa there. And the second one is Anvachaya. Anvachaya is where one has a higher prominence, the second one doesn't have that much prominence. So here example given is Bhikshamata Gam Chanaya. So Bhikshamata, go for begging, for being told to the brahmacharis, that is the main activity. Gam Chanaya, if you happen to notice our cow grazing somewhere in the evening time, bring it back. So that is a secondary work. But the prominence here is to go for begging or going for alms, bhiksham. So here in this case we can't combine, though cha is used there, these two activities because of the importance given to only one, we can't combine and have a dvandva samasa there. So where we can have dvandva samasa is the other two cases where Itaretara yoga and samahara. Itaretara yoga is where two terms we simply add Ramascha Krishnascha becomes Ramakrishna in dual. So two of them are there. Dhavascha Kadirascha Dhava Kadirav. So these are two types of trees. So they have been added. And one more important point about Dvandva Samasa is, while general rule for Samasa is you can only join two of them at a time. In Dvandva we can combine more. So Ragya Putrasya किमपि फलम् अस्ति चेत्, so first we will have to say putrasya phalam putra phalam, and then ragnyah putra phalam, then we combine it again. So when there are multiple words being combined, we split them and take them only two at a time. But here in Dvandva Samasa we can take all of them at the same time. So Rama Lakshmana Bharata Shatrugnaha, it is in plural because there are more than two here. So this is the Itaretara yoga, where individual entities are combined together.
Okay.
The next is Samahara, where several objects are combined to form a single group here. The speciality about Samahara is there are many, but you consider them as a single entity and you refer to that single entity in this the number is also singular. You refer to them in singular as a single entity. So that is Samahara. So for example here, Vayoho Nakayoho Samahara Dvinakam. So two things are combined together and you consider them as one entity and refer to them directly. So here, if Hari Harau, when we say Hari Haro, it becomes Itaretara yoga. But when you want to refer to that group which has one Hari and one Haraha is there, these two people together, if they form a group, then you can still call it Hari Haram. So it is based on the Vivaksha. What do you want to say? You want to mention about two people being there, or you want to mention about a group, one group having two people. Based on that, we can use the appropriate Dvandva Samasa, which is Samahara or Itaretara Yoga.
No, but just previous to that, Ishvara and Guru, you had mentioned that, isn't it? Because they cannot be combined, you have said.
Yes. Because the activity is different. I can't say, I can't join them, pray to Ishvara and Guru. I can't make them pray to Ishvara and Guru, because pray to Ishvara separately, after that pray to Guru separately. The Kriya is separately associated with each of the Subanta.
Okay. So,
whereas in Itaretara and in Samahara, there is no Kriya or anything. Only the Subantas are all joined together.
Okay.
So that is Samuchaya and Anvachaya. In those two cases, we won't have Dvandva Samasa. In Literatara Yoga and Samahara, we would have Dvandva Samasa.
Okay.
Then, here, the order of the words, which word has to come first? So especially for Dvandva Samasa, it is a very big thing. In Bahuvrihi, we just saw that Saptami and Visheshanam needs to come first. But in case of Dvandva Samasa, when we have so many Subhantas coming like that, Rama is there, Krishna is there, Hari, Hara, all those are there. Which word has to be placed first in the compound, final compound? It's a big decision to be taken. For that, there are many sutras. So one is Rajadanta Dishu Param. Here there is a class, there is a gana called Rajadanta, starting with Rajadanta. So it is called Rajadantadikana. In that there are certain words. For those words, take them as it is. Like Raja, then Danta has come. So accept them as it is and consider that to be the right order. So if it has been listed in that, probably it's a list of exception also. If it has been listed in that Rajadanta class, then take it that Raja has to be placed first. Because here in Dantanam Raja, Rajadantaha, this is actually a deviation. This is not Dvandva Samasa. It clarifies what should be placed first. Generally, the general rule is when we say Sashti Tatpurusha, in Sashti Tatpurusha, Rajnyaha Putraha, we say Rajaputraha. So, king's son, we say king's son. So, Rajapurushaha, Rajaputraha. But here, Dantanam Raja, Rajadantaha. So, though the sixth vibhakti term is there, we place it as a second term, whereas usually we would place it as the first term. Why are we doing it this way? Because it has been listed in that Rajadanta Gana. This is the one which says that which one should be placed first. And there are, I think I'll ignore the Upasarjanam Purvam part. Why Rajnyaha Purushaha, in that Rajnyaha has come first is because in the Sutra, whatever has been stated first, Upasarjanam Purvam, I think that is beyond the scope. Let's not get into that. Okay, Rajadantadi class is an extendable class. So extendable class, the meaning you and I cannot add to it, but the people in the field of grammar, those scholars, if they decide that something could get into that class, they are free to go ahead and add it. So mostly if they find it being spoken that way, certain words combined in a certain way, they could go ahead and add it there. Then the next one is Jaya Cha Patischa, Jayapati, Jampati or Dampati. So this Jaya can be replaced by Dam and Jam. That is a different rule. So we can either retain it as Jaya or we can have in its place Dam or Jam. And the order in which it has to be placed is determined by Rajadantati class. So it is called Jayapati.
Okay.
And there is an exception when there is Dharma. It could be either. We can have it as Artha Dharma or Dharmartha. Now coming into Dvandva, what should be placed first in Dvandva? There are a series of sutras. We will see the most important ones. It says that place the one which has Ghi Samya. Like earlier we saw Bha Samya. Here it is Ghi Samya. Whichever word gets the Ghi Samya, place that first in Dvandva Samasa. So what is this Ghi Samya? The definition of Ghi Samya is given by another sutra which says Sesho Gyasaki, which is Seshaha Ghi Asaki. Except for Saki word, whatever are the masculine words that end in Ikara and Ukara, like Hari and Guru, these words get the Gi Samya. So words like Hari and Guru, they get the Gi Samya. So when we have Harishcha, Harascha or Harascha, Harishcha, whichever way you write the Vigraha Vakya, because Hari has the Gi Samya, it is a masculine word ending in Ikara or Ukara, that has to be placed first in the compound word. So we have Hari Harau. So Hari Harau, we have the Purva Nipata is by Dvandvegi. So how generally what should come first? I had this example. Purva Nipata is Upasarjanam Purvam. Whatever has the Upasarjanam is defined as Upasarjanam, that needs to be placed first as a rule. That is a general rule. These are all exceptions to that. So what is this Upasarjanam? Which gets the Upasarjana? What is called as Upasarjana is Prathma Nirdishtam Samasa Upasarjanam. In a sutra, whatever is placed first is termed as Upasarjana, and that should be placed first in the compound word. For example, Saptami Shaundehi is a Samasa Vidhayakam Sutra. So there is a sutra which says Saptami Shaundehi. So if we see here, Saptami has been placed first in the sutra. So in any example of this Saptami Vibhakti Tatpurusha, Yudhishthiraha, that Yudhi is in Saptami. So Yudhi has been placed first. So that is how generally Purva Nipata is determined. So these are exceptions. In case of Dhandve, we should consider G, like Hari has to be placed first.
Okay.
And Abhyarhitam Purvam. So when you have, what happens when two terms have Gi Samya, like Hari and Giri.
Yeah.
So in that case, Abhyarhitam, whichever is respectful, whichever demands certain regard and respect, that has to be placed first. So Hari has to be placed first in such case. And then what happens with when I have more terms? So what should be the order? So it says only focus on the first part. If the first one, there is a Gi, place that first. The remaining, I don't care what you, whatever is the order, is the Panini Sutra. Aneka praptau ekatra niyamaha anyatra aniyamaha. So when there are multiple words, ensure that the first one follows the rule. The rule Dvandvegi. So place when we have say Hari, Hara and Guru, here both Hari also has Gi Samya, Guru also has Gi Samya, because these are masculine words ending in Ikara or Ukara. So place any one of those you place first. The remaining, whatever order in which you place, it's okay. The next one is Alpachtaram. Whatever has the lesser number of letters, vowels, place that first. So Shiva has two letters, Ikara and Akara. Shiva has two vowels, and Keshava, it has Ekara, Akara and Akara. So Keshava has three letters while Shiva has two letters. So when we have words like these, put whichever has the lesser number of words, place that first. So we have Shivascha Keshavascha, Shiva Keshava. So they say also earlier he said Harishcha Harascha, Hariharo, he placed the Vishnu first. Then to satisfy the Shaivites, he took this example of Shivascha Keshavascha and made it Shiva Keshava by placing Shiva the first one. Okay. Then Bhratru Jaya Yasaha. So here, when there are brothers, place the elder brother in the first place. The eldest one, whoever is the elder, that has to be placed first. So here, Yudhishthirascha Arjunascha, we have Yudhishthira Arjuna, because Yudhishthira is elder. Okay. The next one is the Vachanam, Ekavachanam. That Dvandva will have, certain Dvandva Samasa will have Ekavachanam. It clarifies which ones will have Ekavachanam. So here it says Dvandvascha Prani Turya Senanganam. Prani, parts of Prani, animals, and here it means human beings also. Animals including human beings, the whole gamut. So Prani, Anganam, Turya is the orchestra or musical band. Part of Turya Anga, part of the musical band Sena Anga, So it is a part of an army. In these three cases, it has to be final compound word has to be in Ekavachanam. And we have Panyoho, Padayoho cha Samaharaha, or if you want to take it in dual form, Pani cha Padau cha Etesham Samaharaha, Pani Padam. So it becomes in singular because it is mentioned that it has to be in singular. Finally, it is instead of Pani Padaha, here it has become Pani Padam.
Yeah.
Because in case of Dvandvascha Prani Turya Senanganam, we need to have Ekavachanam example. Then again, when it will be the Vachanam, it will be Ekavachanam for in the Samasta Padam. Esham cha Virodaha Shashvatikaha. Where the enmity is, it is always there, eternal enmity is there. Like Ahischa, Nakulascha. They are permanent, the snake and mongoose are permanent enemies, eternal enemies. So in that case, it has to be in Ekavachanam. Ahischa, Nakulascha becomes Ahinakulam. And Goscha, Vyagrascha becomes Go Vyagram.
Yeah.
We see the important ones next. So in Dvandva Samasa we have seen Dvandve Ki, Charti Dvandva, Dvandve Ki, Alpachtaram, Dvandvascha, Pranitoti Senangana. The next one Sar had mentioned in Kshudra Jantavaha during our class. Yeah. Devata Dvandve. There is a Devata Dvandve. We'll see that.
You can stop whenever.
Tell me, sir.
You can stop whenever you desire.
Yeah, we will stop with this Dvandva Samasa.
Okay.
And remaining Aluk and other Samasanta and Prakriya are there. Those we will see after a short break. We will decide on the timing.
Okay.
Devata Dvandvecha. So here, when the two deities are being involved, we will have Anang for the Purva Pada. Anang. So in that A gets added, Akara, Dirga Akara. For example, Mitra Varunau, the Dirga comes there. Mitrascha Varunascha, it is not Mitra Varunau, it is Mitra Varunau because of Devata Dvandvecha. So if it is Devata, two Devatas being involved in a Dvandva, we would have that the first Pada, Purva Pada Vikaraha, it changes and it gets Ananga Adesha. We have the elongated R coming there. But again, an exception to that is when Vayu Shabda is involved, we don't have to elongate it. Agnischa Vayuscha, Agni Vayuhu, Vayuscha Agnischa, Vayavagni. And Divadya just says that Div will become Dhyava.
Yeah.
Dhyauscha Bhumischa becomes Dhyava Bhumihi. Bhumi in Dvivachana. Let me see how much is there. That's it. One or two more sutras. Kshudra Jantavaha. So here, when we are referring to very minute creatures, then in that case, we will still have Ekavachana only. And what is determined by minute creatures? There is another sutra which says that Anakulat Shudra Jandravaha. Starting from mongoose downwards, the inferior ones are all considered to be Shudra Jantu. So in those cases, what we have is a singular. The compound word will be in singular. Example is Yukascha Yuka Yukascha likshascha yuka liksham. Yuka is that lies in the hair, what we have, and liksha is the earthworm. So yukascha likshascha yuka liksham. Okay, the final one in Dvandva Samasa. I'll just see if it is important, otherwise we can move it.
Good.
How many times? Let me see how many times they have asked this one.
Good.
It was asked only once. This Dvandva Shaha Antat Samahare. So when we have this Cha Varga, Da, Sha and Ha, when they end in that, we will have only Samahara Dvandvaha. For example, Vak Cha Tvak Cha Vak Tvacham. So because of that Cha, this sutra states that we will have touch as a pratyaya. And so Vak, Vak, the last one was ik, it was ending in ik, and it changes to cha, ich. Then from touch we get only a part. That chakara plus a makes it cha. So that's how we have vak cha, tvak cha, vak tvacham. And the sutra is dvandvas cha, dvandvas chu da sha antat samahare. So with this we will end for the day. We have covered Dvandva Samasa. What is pending is Ekashesha, Sarva Samasantaha and Aluk. A few others are there. We will see it in the next session. Samachashre Vidhi is also there. We will fix up a time and I'll let you know about that. I'll stop recording now.